The Rampart Ridge Loop in Mount Rainier National Park in 5 minutes. Would I recommend hiking this trail? Stay tuned until the end for my 2 cents. The Rampart Ridge Loop is a 4.9 mile trail. It's more common to hike the trail clockwise and start off by crossing over the park road. However, I'm hiking the opposite way here, which starts on the Wonderland Trail that you'll see on your left as you enter the parking lot. Either way you begin, you'll have 1,300 feet of elevation gain until you hit the Overlooks. The Rampart Ridge Loop begins from the Longmire area. Now, if the weather is clear on the day you go, head over to the porch of the National Park Inn and check out the view in front of you. It's going to be one of the better views you'll see today of Rainier, and just to the left there is the Rampart Ridge that we'll be hiking. Now back at the Longmire Trailhead area, that has everything you might need: bathrooms, food, an information center, a large parking lot. However, of course, during the peak season in the summer, you probably still want to arrive early or later in the day for easier parking. Being so close to a large visitor center area, the Rampart Ridge Loop is a well-worn trail. There's not a lot of rocks or tree limbs, lots of good signage to tell you where you are, and about a mile up is where that incline is going to kick in, and it's pretty steep for about the next 1.2 miles as you gain about 1,000 feet in elevation. When you see the sign connecting to the Rampart Ridge Trail, things flatten out for about a half mile before the incline increases again as you gain about the last 200 feet in elevation leading up to the first overlook. As you hike out onto this rocky exposed ridge, look behind you and you're going to get your best view of the day of Mount Rainier. Down below you there is the Couts Creek riverbed, and straight across from you is Saddle Lick Mountain. As you continue on the trail and cross over to the other side of the ridge, you'll see signs marking our next viewpoint. And from here on a clear day, you can see the Longmire area below and Eagle Peak. Now for me, I didn't really find this view all that exciting as there are a lot of trees blocking it. As you get back on the trail and continue the loop, the next 2 miles is decline and switchbacks as you head back down to the trailhead. Now if you started off the loop in the more traditional clockwise way, you start off with steeper incline almost right away, and it continues for about 2 miles until you get to the viewpoint. Once you've lost all the elevation, the trail connects with the short Trail of Shadows loop. If you head to the right, it's the shortest distance crossing over the park road again and back to the parking lot. Okay, now for my trail ratings. On the difficulty scale, I give the Rampart Ridge Loop a marmot. The incline is pretty steep, but it doesn't go on for too long, only a couple miles before you hit those viewpoints and things flatten out. Now, what would I give this trail overall? Having explored Mount Rainier National Park numerous times and knowing what it has to offer, I give the Rampart Ridge Loop 2 elk racks out of 5. Now when I'm out hiking on the trail, my top priority is always finding the best views, and while this view here is really amazing, compared to some of the other areas of the park, you have to work really hard to get to this view, and the other overlook really doesn't do much for me. So if it's your first time to Mount Rainier, I really wouldn't recommend this trail. I would suggest you keep driving up the park road to the Paradise area, and from there you'll find much more spectacular views of Rainier just sitting in the car. However, if you do love forest hiking or are just looking to get some exercise in, this is a great trail for you.